What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about a game that I've known about for a little while, but I'm just now getting around to playing it. My wife got it for me for Christmas, and that game would be Trek to Yomi. I'm assuming it's called Yomi, but I'm going with Yomi. This movie, it looks like a movie, that's why I'm saying that. But this game is essentially a side-scroller hack and slash with skill and a nod to the 1950s and 60s samurai flicks. As you'll see with everything I'm showing through this video, it is a cinematic masterpiece, and that is why I kind of keep it in my head thinking it's a movie. You'll see through the footage I'm going to show you here what I'm talking about with the cinematic kind of aspect of it. Everything is played out to perfection. It's mainly a 2D game, but every now and then it switches into kind of like a... I don't know how many modes it goes in. I can't really say. This isometric kind of look and all this stuff where the camera's behind the guy as it shifts into the 2D plane or shifts out of a 2D into a 3D plane. Also, you'll have characters that you're fighting that you'll see jumping from the foreground into the scene and from the background jumping into the scene. It's really cool in that aspect. Well, anyway, we'll get through me talking about it, and I'll just show you all the gameplay footage, and we'll go about it from there. Alright guys, as you can see, what we got here is the intro to the game, and it just looks spectacular as it is. So as you go, and you can see here, you just choose your game mode. You've got your usual difficulties. Here you can choose between the different kind of levels you want. A cinematic experience, a battling sequence, or more story driven. You just pick whatever kind of mode you're after, and the game will adapt to that. This is just the very beginning of the game. This will kind of just show you the graphics and how this game is laid out. A lot of these first sequences is me just kind of displaying this to you. This scene here was just gorgeous, and to start the game off like this I thought was amazing, because here you see the transformation from an adult to how you start off the game to where you start off as a kid. Now, being a kid, here you are with your master, and he's essentially training you on who you become. This is the very beginning of the game. It's essentially the tutorial. Here you can see where I was talking about how the plane kind of shifts. You're running along there, and then it'll swap over to a 2D kind of stance. If you can see there on the bottom left of the screen, you see this little refilling ribbon. Well, that is your stamina. If the stamina drops too low, you can't swing as effectively, so you really got to balance that. If you look at the dots above that little ribbon in the bottom left, that is your health. Of course, more health blocks you have, the more life you have. This here is a pretty cool part of the game, because it's a little puzzle solver. You see the enemies down there below? Well, you run up and you cut that rope, and then the logs will fall on the enemies below. There's a lot of different scenes like that in the game that make it just, it's a puzzler along with a battle. If you'll notice when I'm fighting these guys here, you'll see little like beams of light pop up on their sword. And that is when you're supposed to be blocking. It's very much like Ghost of Tsushima if you've ever played that game, to where the enemy will give you a little nod to when you should block. This game does that also. You seen right there for a minute I was kind of dragging. That is because my stamina had run too low. This is early in the game, and I'm really sucking up to this point. Later on in the game, I kind of got the things under better. If you see here, all them little things that you can see flashing and stuff, those are interactive points. Like right above my head there on that tree, that lets you know that you can do something to that. And this is one of the cool things I think about the game. You run along and you have to solve little puzzles and stuff in order to cross certain paths and such. So like this is right after the tree sequence. It's just a battle that you'll run into. But really, once again, I want to show you a screen like this to show you, if you really look at their swords and stuff, it'll teach you when to parry and when you can knock their swords back. And you kind of knock them a little bit, back on their feet, and you have a better chance to hit them. These are kind of like the samurai battles that you would run across in Tsushima. This thing does them very much the same way, in this black kind of shadow way, these little battles. I mean, I just think it's gorgeous. This is another little puzzle part I wanted to show you guys, and just to show you the difference in the terrain you'll traverse and stuff. But you go through here, and that little thing I just touched there shining, those are save points. They're scattered all throughout the game, and they're very plentiful. So that is one great thing about the game. You don't have to, search and search and search for a save point. But you see here that little flashing thing, I just hit it and it knocked those things down on the enemy. The game is full of little things like that just kind of add to the, the exploration part of it. Here again, there's another one of those trees like I was talking about, because on the other side of that, you can see an item flashing. So, of course, you've got to find a way to go over there and get it. This here is one of those save points. They're everywhere throughout the game. Usually when you battle a couple of 3 enemies, you'll pop across one of them. I thought this was just a really cool scene. I just wanted to throw this in there. I mean, you're fighting on that tree. It kind of reminds me of the Predator, when Billy's fighting the Predator on the tree. But I just thought that was a super cool little scene. Of course, it collapses behind you as you're trying to leave. These are little hidden shrines that you'll find throughout the way. And what they do is, when you go there and you find them, they'll increase your stamina, your attributes, your strength, all kinds of stuff like that. So you definitely want to look off the beaten path. And if you come across a path that's branching, you want to look around, because a lot of those things are scattered throughout the game that'll upgrade your health, your stamina, and all that kind of jive. There is a screen that has that on there, but you don't choose it. It kind of does it for you. I thought this was a really cool little scene here, because having that boat in the foreground and then seeing the current and everything, and the bodies float down the river as you kill them and they fall off the bridge. I mean, I just thought that was great. I mean, this game is just thoughtful as it can be and just simply gorgeous. But you can kind of see, I mean, just the general battle on it, how it works. I mean, it's a hack and slash with a little bit of strategy. You can't just go in hacking and hacking and hacking, because they will kill you. You have to use your wits and all that kind of stuff. And it's a very, 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 very fun game. I mean, it's on the cheap too, Well, there you go, guys. That's a look at Trek to Yomi. I cannot suggest it enough. I think on Black Friday, my wife got it for around $20-25. I don't know if it's any more than that regular price, but whatever the game is worth, cost right now, it's definitely worth every bit of it. I mean, I hope the footage that I showed you, and I know the description probably wasn't the best. I'm trying to get a little better at showing you guys what a lot of these games have to offer instead of just my general opinion of them. So hopefully I gave you enough to kind of base your opinion on whether you want to pick it up or not, but I can't suggest it enough. Of all the games I have played of late, that one definitely has kept me engaged more than any I have played in a while. But anyway, that's going to kind of do it for today. You guys have a good one. Appreciate you checking out the vid. Later.